How much are, do we know if Russian oil purchases is down to what now? I mean, it's negligible now, right? Sorry, Shireen, go on.
Thank you so much for that, Prashant. Well, it was all about the Russian oil purchases, right, that led to that 25% penal tariff that came by. Now remember, in this particular statement, they speak about 500 billion of US energy products, amongst a lot of other things that will be bought by India in this particular deal. I will come to crude oil in just a bit, but just getting to the gas part, because that was another thing that all the analysts on the street were talking about as well, that US wants to export their gas to India, which is a big market, and that is something which had already started happening. In November 2025, India announced a major LPG term deal for US LPG. They signed 2.2 million tons per annum, which is around 10% of the total import volume right now with the US. So that was a big deal that we entered into in November itself. GAIL also in India Energy Week spoke about the fact that they want to look at 15-year LNG supply agreement for 1 million metric tons per year from US plants. And do remember, US is the second biggest LNG exporter to India after Qatar. So they were planning to add on more volumes to that. So this is one part of this particular deal that we should talk about as well, because gas imports are also really big for India. As far as crude is concerned, now do remember, Russian crude oil imports in December came in at a 38-month low at $2.7 billion. Yes, they are lower than what we saw earlier, but we were still importing from non-sanctioned entities, and we spoke to a lot of companies. They indicated buying from non-sanctioned entities is an economic decision. They are not buying from sanctioned entities, two entities in the Russian crude market. Imports from US at the same time, they grew 31% on a YY basis from December levels, which came at $569.3 million. Now remember, that was still lower than Russian oil in the month of December. This is as per some stats. So we have to see which way things go. We are still importing, but that is from non-sanctioned entities. But looks like we wouldn't do that according to the statement. But numbers from January and February will be key to watch.
No, absolutely, Sonal. Thanks very much for putting that into perspective. And the point on LNG is also an important point that you make. And that is something that the oil minister, Hardeep Puri, has